Groundwork is an essential part of your training program, and oftentimes it's overlooked in lots of training programs, and I can understand why. Because if groundwork's not done well or with the proper understanding, it can really just be teaching your horse things that they don't need to know, and it can just feel like a big waste of time. So today I'm going to talk to you about 2 reasons why I do groundwork and show you how I apply it in my halter breaking process. With that being said, let's get started. I'm Steve Andrews, and this is The Natural Horseman. So there are 2 main reasons why I do groundwork with a horse. And really, I like to do this stuff in the halter breaking phase when they're long yearlings right up until the point you want to ride them, whether it's 2, 3, 4, or 5 years old. So they really have an idea on how to operate before you climb up into the saddle. That's why I do this groundwork. So the 2 main reasons I do groundwork is to prepare the horse for something, okay, and then to teach them something. All right, that's it. That's all you got to do. Now there's a whole bunch of fancy stuff you can add on to that, but for what I do for a living, I fix horse problems, I start horses, I do foundational training, okay? So most of my clients want a nice horse that they can either go off and do performance things with, or just enjoy them at home, or take them down the trail. So I prepare well-mannered, nice riding horses for folks. All right, so just real quick, I'm gonna run through this stuff, and this is all stuff, yeah, does it feel good? This is all stuff that needs to be done in the halter breaking process. Okay, so preparing for something, just real quick. One of the first things I like to do in my confidence and control stage of halter breaking is, can I teach them to not react to energy, but rather stay tuned in to my intention? And that's really how you can prevent your horse from becoming dull and heavy, right? So you want to be confident, but you also want them ultra tuned in to your intention. So if I'm not asking the horse to go anywhere when I'm doing this stuff, there he's moving a little bit, I'm just going to rub on him a little bit. Say, I didn't ask you to go anywhere, okay? So don't react to the energy. Don't react to me moving around, doing weird stuff, because there's nothing in my body language and my intention. There's nothing in my feel asking you to move. So, and you can do this. I'm just running through this real quick. You can do this with your training stick. You know, you can do this with flags, you can do this with tarps, you should do with all of this stuff, and in motion as well, because just doing it at a standstill is not good enough. All right. Second thing, teaching them something, okay? So in thinking of teaching them something, are you using your aids, your training aids, in a way that's going to help you achieve your goals, or are they going to hinder your progress, okay? So I always like to think of this rope not as a halter rope, but as a rein. You hear me say that often, activate your rein. I'm talking about this right here, okay? I'll use my training stick to apply herding or understanding pressure, okay? So it backs up my direct feel, which I rely on when I ride. And also I'll use my training stick as my leg, okay? So to get started, thinking about using this as a rein, using this as an energy producer, or herding pressure, or my leg, let's get started. So can I use my rein first to step my horse off? Can I set his weight backwards? Can I pick up his left front just like I do a turn on the haunches? Okay, and ask him to turn. So right away we're asking and looking for that rein to brain to foot connection, okay? Can I step him forward in a way that's going to relate to my ride? Now if I just take my training stick and I start swinging and spanking like this, okay, that in no way is going to help my ride, okay? Because what I'm doing by doing that is I'm chasing him that way. I'm chasing him away from me. Whether he's attached to this or not, those horses, when you start chasing them like that, they're going to try to go that way. When they start going that way, they start counterflexing, okay? And more or less, they're just running away, and you're not operating on a feel there. That doesn't mean I won't put a go button in, but there's a specific way I do that. Again, in a way that's going to directly relate to my ride, okay? What they need to know versus what they don't need to know. So let's start fresh. Can I pick up that front foot, do a turn on the haunches? In time with that inside front, can I make contact with his nose, step that inside front forward, okay? So that's operating on a rein. making that rein to brain to foot connection. Okay, let's break him back down to a walk. What I'm going to do, I'm not going to shake the rope at him. I'm not going to throw the stick out in front of his face and jam him up. I'm going to take a hold of this rein. Oh, let's start fresh here. I'm going to take a hold of this rein, make contact, step his outside hind out, do a one rein stop to a walk. Okay, break him right back down. So again, rein to brain to foot connection right off the bat there. All right, next piece, or another piece. Let's say he needs to learn how to operate off my leg cues. Okay, so right where you see that stirrup hanging, you guys see that? I can apply my leg, meaning my stick. Can I apply my leg and have him get round? Did you see him get round right there? I didn't poke him, I didn't jab him. Okay, I just applied my leg like it's my calf. I turn my toe out, ask him to get round. There he goes. Okay, that relates to my ride. Very good. Now if you've noticed, when he gets round there, he starts to step under and stretch laterally across his top line, causes his top line to stretch. All right, so now can we turn that into an upward transition? So I'll apply that leg, and as he's flexing, I'll elevate, I'll kind of lift my calf up into him as his inside front's coming up off the ground. All right, so now we're encouraging him to stretch down and all at the same time pick up that inside front and go up into the trot. Again, let's break him down using our one rein stop. Make contact, draw the nose towards the stirrup, one rein stop, let's walk, not stop. One rein stop for that downward transition, rein to brain to foot. Okay. All right, next piece for this herding pressure, meaning if I need a little go button in there, okay? If I'm activating this rein and he's not putting it together to reach forward with that front and drive off the hind, I'm going to activate my go button, but I'm going to do it in a way that's going to help me when I ride. Okay, so I want to focus on his outside hind for that, and as his outside hind's about to step forward, I'm going to drive it forward with my stick. I drove it forward to get him to go forward. I didn't swing my stick overhand and chase him away from me. I want my horses to go forward and around me. I don't want them running away from me. Let's break them back down with that one rein stop. Okay, now think about what I said there too. I said if I need that herding pressure to drive that outside hind forward, okay, that's the same foot I need him driving off of in order to pick up a canter. Okay, so let's talk about the canter now. For the canter, we're going to use all the same aids that we've already used. All right, we're going to use the rein, we're going to use our inside leg, we're going to use our outside leg. All right, so here we go. First, I'm going to start with the rein. Can I make contact with his face, just like I would under saddle? Oop. Step back out, make contact, and lift that inside front. Lift it, lift it. It's to get him to pick that front end up and come through. Now, just like you do if you were riding him, you can pick up your pace by using your aids. You don't have to cluck and spank. So we can go faster by lifting faster. Lift, 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 faster, faster. We can slow him down. Slower, 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 slower. Good. And one rein stop to a trot. One rein stop to a walk. What a good boy. Okay, that's the rein. We got to do the same thing with our leg. If you guys want to see how I teach all this stuff in the halter breaking process, I've got a good start on it so far in that Giant Babies series. I think it's called, there's a playlist, I think it's called Halter Breaking the Young Horse. But you can see how I start all this stuff with that really big 2-year-old Oldenburg. Okay, but I do expect all these halter broke horses to be able to do this. It's really great. You know, you might not get them cantering on these small circles as yearlings. Okay, you don't want to do that, but you can get the smaller pieces. You can get the walk, a little bit of the trot working. You can get the rein to brain to foot. You can get all that working as long yearlings. At least get the pieces in there. So here we go for the leg cue. Can I put my calf on and cause him just to get round. Good. Can I put my calf on, lift that shoulder up, elevate, 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 elevate. In time with that front foot, elevate, lift, 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 lift. Good. And then can I move that calf back a little bit? Do a one rein stop, do a trot. Can I move my calf back a little bit again? One rein stop to a walk. Good boy. All right. So we've got the rein, we've got the inside leg. Now we're gonna work on that outside hind a little bit. Okay, so to get the canter, we already talked about this in the trot, it's gonna be the same. I don't wanna lift my stick and chase him, chase, chase, chase. I wanna teach him to drive off of that outside hind. So I'm gonna take my stick behind him, and when that outside hind starts to step forward, I'm gonna drive it, drive it, drive it, drive it, drive it, until he pushes off, okay? And then we'll do our one rein stop, back down. Let's come all the way to the stop this time. And I want you guys to really pay attention. I really like to get all of this stuff operating off a rein, not relying on this herding training stick. Because again, the rein will translate, the stick will not. Your horse balances with its head and its neck. So we influence its head and its neck through the use of the rein to influence the rest of the body. Okay, now let's see what this looks like under saddle. Okay, well let's see how our groundwork can apply directly to our ride. So we've prepared him for a ride, and we've done our rein to brain to footwork. And now I'd like to show you guys just really how that applies directly to what we do up in the saddle. Now the main difference being, once you're up in the saddle on your horse, they have to adjust for your weight. So the one thing you're gonna have to kind of redo a little bit, or not redo, but to teach a little bit is teach your horse how to carry you, and you can really help them by balancing properly, but that'll be a lesson for another day. Today's lesson is how groundwork relates directly to the ride. Okay, so as I'm going around here, if you recall from our groundwork, I was able to apply my stick right in his barrel to cause him to bend around that stick. All right, and he's doing that right here, and I really like that work. And to me, that's just lateral flexion. That's all that is, meaning the top line bends laterally from the pole to the tail. That's all that is. So we got that working on the ground with our stick. Something else we got working on the ground that's really important is our one rein stop. There's a couple ways we did it. We did the one rein stop by reaching down the rein, taking the hindquarters away. Okay, that was the one way we did it. The other way we did it was by moving our leg back just a little bit. I don't want to see, I don't like seeing people take their legs back and stick it back in their horse's flank. But I mean, if you move that leg back just a quarter of an inch, maybe, that'd be plenty. The important part is getting your weight in the right spot. All right, so we've got, can we do it with the rein? That's great. Same thing we did on the ground, and also same thing we did on the ground. Can we do it with our leg? Can we put that inside leg back and step the hindquarters out, bring them to a stop? Again, we did all that on the ground already. Okay, we did the lateral flexion around my leg. See if he can bend around my leg. If he doesn't, I'll assist him with the one rein stop. There he goes. Just all the same stuff. Now what I'm going to do for this trot departure is I'm going to take this lateral flexion with my inside left leg here, and I'm going to bring his shoulder up and in towards my outside leg. And when I feel his weight start to shift, I'm going to take that inside leg totally off of him before he even trots. The reason I want to do that is I want to release him into the trot. I don't want him feeling pressure. I don't want pressure still on my horse once he's up into the next gate. All right. So then I'm going to do, you have a couple options. You can do a one rein stop with your leg like that to slow him down, or you could also use your rein. Okay. Again, this is all stuff we taught just like on the ground. Go back and watch. I put my leg on the ground, being my stick, to get the flexion, and then I lifted his shoulder and stepped it forward with that stick to ask for the upward transition. Okay, you notice I also used my rein for upward transitions. All right, so if I take this inside rein and I lift in time with that front foot, I can encourage him to pick that front foot up and start to find a canter. There he goes. What a good boy. Then we'll settle him down. We'll do a one rein stop. I'll use my rein this time. Bring him back to the walk. Very good. Again, this is all stuff we did right on the ground. Okay. Another aid that I used on the ground, we've already talked about this one, but we'll show you again for the canter, is I use this leg for lateral flexion, this inside leg. Then I'll use that same leg to elevate the shoulder. So can I use just the leg without the rein this time and get that horse to elevate and canter? There he goes. Good boy. You're so smart. Okay, this time I'll decide to use a one rein stop with my leg to slow him down, keeping my hand still. There. All right, good boy. Okay, and then another thing we did on the ground is we drove him off of his outside hind to pick up the lead or to do the upward transition. So this time I'm going to see if I can ask this horse to drive off of his outside hind and pick up that canter. And then if he needs some support from that, if he gets a little, a lot of times the driving or putting my leg back to get the canter, I'll use that one last, because you can almost scare a horse or punch him up into the canter. All right, so I'll reserve that for my kind of my last cue when I'm teaching the canter. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to see if we can take this inside leg and shape, and take that inside leg off and drive with the outside. Drive, drive, drive. There he goes. What a smart guy. Okay. All right, there he's slowly driving off that outside hind. He's not really standing up in the front. He's kind of tipping over, so I'm going to apply that inside leg and ask for a little flex and a little standing up in the shoulders. Good. That feels better. Then we'll ease off of him, bring him back to a walk. What a good boy. You're so smart. Okay, so that's really the basics. That's really the basics of really getting your groundwork to relate directly to your riding. And like I mentioned before, I really would recommend getting this stuff working, when you're when they're, at least get the idea planted when they're long yearlings. You don't need to wait. You don't need to wait until they're, real broke, or not broke, till you're riding them. That's really too late. If you can get them started on that halter breaking process as yearlings, as 2-year-olds, as 3-year-olds, get them doing all that stuff on the ground before you're ready to ride them, you won't run out of stuff to do. So if this was helpful to you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I appreciate the support. And send me your questions, your comments down below, and I will see you next time. Thanks for checking in.